Have you heard of mass timber? Mass timber products are multiple layers of wood laminated together using structural adhesive to make extremely sturdy building materials. And it's revolutionizing the building industry because they're environmentally friendly, they're extremely durable, they're easy to work with, and they're inherently fire resistant. Wait, it doesn't really make sense though, inherently fire resistant, because we're talking about wood and fire. I have here Natural Resources Canada's State of Canada's Forest Report, the 2021 edition. And it says here, mass timber construction can meet and even exceed safety requirements in the Canadian building codes. Now, you can't just make a statement like that without backing it up with strong scientific evidence. And that's what leading experts are doing. Natural Resources Canada is partnering with provincial governments and industry to conduct a series of fire research burns on a full-scale, 2-story mass timber structure. We got the chance to go see the biggest of these fire demo tests, and we wanted to share that story with you so you can see for yourself how well mass timber performs under fire conditions. I know I'm an adult and I have to be professional, but come on, we're gonna set a building on fire. It's gonna be awesome.
As you can see, this is a 2-story building, and we are going to run a series of fire tests. We're going to be investigating basically the fire performance of mass timber, exposed mass timber. We're going to look at the fire dynamics, we're going to look at construction fire, potential construction fire, and how basically mass timber behave under fire situations or fire scenarios. The results of this research are going to be used to support building code provisions as related to mass timber and in particular tall wood buildings. Engineered timber is basically a new generation of wood-based products that are manufactured and they are designed and engineered to actually improve the performance of wood products in terms of strength, in terms of dimensional stability, in terms of durability, and structural performance. Mass timber refers to, as the name implies, we're talking about massive either structural members or massive plates. Those could be in terms of size, about 8 feet wide by about 60 feet long. Those are massive, massive structural elements. Those are all made of laminated 2x4, 2x6. They're all laminated together with structural adhesives or with wooden dowels to result in larger panels and larger structure members. This structure represents an open space office building in the first floor and with a residential suite on the second floor. So this is typical, I would say, of buildings with this size.
This is a typical open office, and what we have here are some wooden cubicles just to represent typical office contents. And what we have also are some wooden dowels that are used as fire loads, so just to increase the intensity of the fire. As you can see here, there are parts of the test structures, the walls that are encapsulated with gypsum boards. Others are left exposed, like columns, beams, and some walls, as well as some ceilings. And that was done intentionally as part of the design of the experiment. It feels good now because you are part of it.
You are, yes. Yes. Oh, we're really excited. I think the conditions, the weather conditions in particular, are great. They're favorable to the test, and we expect everything to go just as planned, as designed. The test was actually highly successful. It basically demonstrated the superior fire performance of mass timber. All the contents inside the structure actually caught fire, which was expected. And once all those contents were consumed by the fire, basically the fire died down. And after an hour or so, basically there was hardly any fire in the structure itself. And the fire extinguished itself at the very end. So the mass timber did not really contribute a lot to the fire. The structure performed as designed, as expected, and it was very much comparable to a typical fire dynamics in a non-combustible building. The charring that developed on the columns or beam or the mass timber wall actually protects the rest of the wood from fire. It forms like about 1 inch of charring, and that 1 inch charring actually protects the rest of the wood, and basically there was no further contribution from mass timber into the fire, and that's why the fire died down. That maintained the integrity of the structure, and the structure is still standing and is capable of carrying the live loads that it's designed for.
So there you have it. We saw how mass timber performs under actual fire conditions, and it turns out that mass timber performs really well and has inherent fire resistance. Mass timber is a great product when it comes to building materials, and that's great news for everyone. Are you curious to see what other experiments are happening at Natural Resources Canada? Check out the video on screen right now to see how we're partnering with Carleton University to test building envelopes in a brand new state-of-the-art facility. Make sure you do all the YouTube things, like and subscribe, and keep an eye out for our next video.